Now, I'm sure each and every single one of us has been scrolling through social media and has seen the memes of Brett Favre's career progression when he started off in a Packers uniform, then briefly a Jets uniform, and wrapped up in the Vikings, with a side by side comparison to Aaron Rodgers potentially following the exact same career trajectory. And folks, I think the Minnesota Vikings are trying to tell us something. And it just depends on how you look at it and what you want to gather from their free agency moves. All of their free agency moves that we have seen have been telling a story. And we have approached the fork in the road, and it could mean one of two things, hinting at where they plan on going with this overall situation. I'm very excited to unpack this. Without further ado, let's hop on in. But first, giant shout out to BetUS, number one sports book on the face of the planet, guys. They are currently matching 150% of your first deposit all the way up to $2,000 and 125% of your second and your third deposit as long as you use code YouTube150. But Vikings fans, Skull fans, look at what I'm telling you. Look at what I'm trying to tell you right now. This Minnesota Vikings team has painted a picture of what they are trying to do in 2025. Obviously, they shocked the world last year. And quite frankly, I really don't think any Vikings fans thought that you guys were going to get as far as you did. I know myself as somebody looking from the outside in, I thought this was going to be a reset year. I saw Sam Darnold as your starting quarterback. We saw JJ McCarthy was drafted. No one expected that you guys would be able to take the Lions down to the final week of the season and threatening the NFC North and even threatening the one seed in the playoffs. But you ended up achieving all of that. And free agency, when I thought that the Vikings were going to be relatively quiet, I see moves like this. They re-sign Aaron Jones. They bring in a very talented and young running back in a Jordan Mason from the 49ers. But the biggest thing that I really wanted to point out was the additions rate to the offensive line. You have Will Freeze, and then you also have Ryan Kelly being able to solidify that interior offensive line. And this is what I want us to focus on right now. When I see moves like this, and it's actually very comparable to the Chicago Bears. Like the Chicago Bears team ended up completely revamping their entire offensive line. And I think it's pretty clear as into why they did it. They wanted to protect their second year quarterback so that he could have a bit more time to develop, have a lot more time behind the offensive line. And I don't think that there's really any other potential reason why they would put that much focus on this. And many of you watching could potentially say, oh, well, that's exactly what Minnesota is trying to do. Because JJ McCarthy, he is essentially a redshirt rookie in 2025, and we want to make sure that he has the easiest path forward. But let me tell you something here. I think the Vikings are telling us that we are riding with JJ McCarthy and we are going to be exactly where we were next year and hell, maybe even win the whole damn thing. Or what they are telling you is that the rumors are indeed true, that they are considering bringing in Aaron Rodgers. And if they do bring in Aaron Rodgers, I think that all of these free agency moves are telling us they are going for the home run. They are going for raising the Lombardi to the state of Minnesota. And hear me out, right? Because I know a lot of Minnesota Vikings fans are very polarized on this overall topic. Some want to run with a rookie, some want to run with Aaron Rodgers. And I got to tell you, all right, I think Aaron Rodgers might be the move, especially if you are looking for a short term solution, if you are looking for your best chance to win a Super Bowl in 2025. The old man Rodgers taking after Brett Favre, finishing out his career in Minnesota is going to give you the best chance. Think about it. Do we really want to look at Aaron Rodgers and put a title on him that he is washed because he played for the New York Jets? I have seen the New York Jets absolutely ruin quarterbacks ever since I was a young child. I can guarantee you that what we saw from Aaron had nothing to do with his overall progression, but it had everything to do with him also still recovering from the torn Achilles he had 2 years ago. I promise you, a 1 year recovery period is not enough for a quarterback to be back at 100%. And number two, just piss poor management over in New York. Like, they fired their head coach when they were barely under 500, like week 6 going into the 2024 NFL season. And I think that it was just a giant dumpster fire over there. So I'm not going to put a lot of that on Aaron Rodgers. Even when you ended up looking at some of his late season performances, you could see that he was slowly but surely getting back to his old self. Now, I want you to imagine that he is on the Minnesota Vikings. He's the kind of guy where a week 18 last year against the Detroit Lions and or losing in the wild card round the following week would not happen. Because I think that we can all agree right now that Sam Darnold had a great season, right? It got him a contract with the Seattle Seahawks. I'm intrigued to see how he does next year. But he was largely a game manager. He got things done, right? And unfortunately, I'm not saying that I'm going to put this on JJ McCarthy for his entire career, but I do want to remind everybody that he is indeed a redshirt rookie. This is going to be his first year in the NFL. He is still recovering from the knee injury that he got during the preseason last year. So now we're talking about Aaron Rodgers is way further in his recovery process. And in my opinion, closer to 100% than what JJ McCarthy is where it stands. But when you have a rookie QB, for the most part, you have to have them be a game manager in a sense, unless there's an anomaly like a CJ Stroud's rookie season and or a Jaden Daniels rookie season. I think you plug and play Aaron Rodgers into this offense, into a Kevin O'Connell offense. This is the kind of guy where can put a team on their back, can make big time throws in big time situations, because that was the biggest drawback for Minnesota, especially in games which meant the most at this point. We couldn't see Sam Darnold go out there and rise above all of the pressure that was consistently in his face. And that's something I believe Aaron Rodgers genuinely can do, especially with all of these new offensive line pieces that you put in front of him. Now, I think that there wouldn't be much of an on-paper difference if, for example, the Vikings rolled with J.J. McCarthy and or Aaron Rodgers, especially in the regular season. But I think when it comes into big boy and adult moments at the quarterback position by itself, and also with all of the weapons you still have on this team, bringing back an Aaron Jones, also bringing back a Jordan Mason, same thing with Justin Jefferson, all of your wide receiver weapons. I think if the Minnesota Vikings are serious about actually like winning a Super Bowl, it's gotta be an Aaron Rodgers acquisition. But that's my take. It's probably not going to be too popular at this point. However, I promise you, if it does happen, you will come back to this video and you will thank me. My name is Dan Mitchell. This is a clip from the Dan Mitchell Show. Make sure you subscribe to Roundtable Sports so you never miss a live episode. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.